Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah and day 8 of the Christmas Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing 20 brand new Cricut paper crafts to make for Christmas over 20 days. Today's project is this lovely Christmas tree greetings card. I've used some gold mirror card to add a little bit of shine to the front, but this is not just a simple card. Oh no, this card is hiding a surprise. Let's open it up. Ta-da! There's this wonderful dimensional 3D pop-up Christmas tree hiding inside the card. It folds flat for postage, and then when you open it up, it comes straight out in all of its Christmassy glory. The card has some nice snowflake decorations on the inside too, adding some extra patterns. And in the bottom right corner, there's a hidden message panel that pulls out so you can add your message on there and then slide it back in to hide it away. Let's find out how to make this lovely Christmassy pop-out card. The files for this project are free for the next 24 hours. Here's how to download them. Register a free ticket for the Christmas Craft Countdown at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas24. After registering, you'll get an email which contains a link to the schedule page for the countdown. Visit the schedule page to find and download today's files. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/Christmas24 bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files from the Christmas Craft Countdown, plus lots of extra bonus designs. The download comes in a zip folder. You need to unzip this before uploading the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. This is what the design looks like when the SVG file is uploaded into Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to get to this stage, check out the schedule page for the Christmas Craft Countdown, and within there is a foundation learning section near the top of the page. Look in there for a separate tutorial and video on how to upload SVG files into Cricut Design Space. The first thing we need to do is to check that this is loaded in at the correct size, which is 17 inches wide and 21.5 inches tall. If yours has come in at a different size to that, then resize it to fit. And again, that was 17 inches wide and 21.5 inches tall. That will give you a finished card which is 5 by 7 inches. It will fit in a standard 5 by 7 inch envelope, but it's a bit of a tight squeeze because of how many bits of cardstock make up the pop-out inside the middle. A nicer way to do it so that you've got a little bit more room is to create your own handmade envelope. Again, within the foundation learning section at the top of the schedule page is a link in there to a separate tutorial on how to make envelopes, including some free SVGs. And one more thing in that lucky foundation learning section is another free tutorial and SVG on how to make presentation boxes. If you're giving this card by hand rather than sending it in the post or the mail, a presentation box is the best way to display it because it means you've got loads of space for all of the layers to have lots of room, and I'll even show you in that other tutorial how you can decorate the box to fit your card. But for now, we are just focusing on the card itself, so let's take a look at what we need to do in Cricut Design Space before this is ready to cut. Click on the design to select everything, and then press the Ungroup button at the top of the Layers panel to separate out all the pieces. There are 4 separate layers that we need to format to turn them into score lines. These are the first 4 that appear in your Layers panel. And you can tell that these are the ones that we need to change because they have a little arrow next to them. I'll click on the blue one first and then click the arrow to open it up. We can see within this group there are 2 layers. There's the main blue rectangle and then a single vertical line. Click the vertical line and then under Operation, change it to Score. Click in the Layers panel to select that whole group. So now I've got both of those layers selected. Then down the bottom of the Layers panel, press Attach. Attach is what tells the Cricut where to do that score line. Then the one underneath that is for the white piece of card, so I can hover over the blue one and click the eye icon to hide it. You don't need to do that, but it will make it easier to see what I'm about to do. Open up the next group, click on the vertical lines, change them to Score, click the group in the Layers panel, and then press Attach. Then we can turn the original blue one back on, but I can't see it now, and that's because when you attach something, it moves it right to the top, so now the blue's appearing underneath. We can change that by going Arrange, Bring to Front, and now you can see it all again. There are 2 more score lines to do. Let's click on the first one, open up the group, click on the single line, change it to score, click the group and attach. And then the last one, open it up, click the single line, change it to score, click to select the group and press attach. And that is all the formatting you need to do, so this would now be ready to cut out. Click Make to begin the cut process, and this will separate out all the colours for you. You can change the paper size in the drop down here, and then if you want to, you can click and drag to move things about to take up less space on your cardstock. You'll need to do that for every single colour. When you're happy with how everything's looking in Design Space, press Continue to connect to your Cricut and then follow the on-screen instructions to get everything cut out from your cardstock. I've got all the pieces of the project cut out now, but I'm going to start by sticking together the front of the card. I've read all the pieces in order to check that I'm happy with the colours, and I've got all the little tiny pieces in a pot here so I don't lose them along the way. I'll be adding some glue and some foam squares to the front of this card. So I'll bring it all apart and start at the very bottom piece, which is the solid blue with the snowflakes taken out. And then on top of that will be the base of my tree. And this is the one that I'll use my foam squares for. The foam squares I'm using are from Dot and Dab, but any will do. If yours are really big, you might need to trim them a little bit smaller to go inside the shapes. If you prefer, you can glue all the pieces instead of using any foam squares. This can be helpful if you're planning on posting or mailing the card, as it will already be fairly thick because of the pop-out mechanism hiding inside. So if you're worried about it costing a lot of money to sand, then gluing this instead of foaming can help with that, help it end up a little bit thinner. But it's completely up to you. So I'm adding a good amount of these foam squares around the edge so it'll be really well stuck and everything is supported. But I also need some in the middle of the tree shape too, again to give it that support and that level sort of bridge across all of the foam squares to make sure it doesn't go downwards in the middle if there was nothing there to support it. Now I've got all those on there, I can peel the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. Okay, these are all nice and sticky, so let's bring this on. And make sure you've got it the right way around because the snowflakes are designed to show in the gaps around the tree. I've got this sort of simple thick snowflake with the 2 dots in the bottom right. And line this up and gently drop down. That way, if you weren't happy with how it was all laid out, it isn't quite stuck yet, so you could pick it up and move it. But that's looking good, so I will push down to stick. Next up is this green piece, which will be glued on. I'm using Bearly Art glue, but I also like Collall, and the reason I like these 2 glues is that they don't bend or wrinkle the card like some glues can do. Now this tree is not completely symmetrical, so just line it up first before you add the glue to make sure you're getting it the right way around. Then I'll put this directly on top of the brown and line it up as neatly as I can on those edges. Next up is this green piece to be glued on top. And then the red piece to glue, and again make sure you have definitely got it the right way round because that start isn't 100% in the middle, so if you put the glue on the wrong way round it won't line up properly. Next is this middle bit which will line up. I think I've got that the wrong way round. Ah, there we go. I was trying to line it up along the wrong spikes. Okay, it's up there. And this one is again glued. So it's lining up along these spikes. It matches the shape of what's underneath. And then I've got my star on top and the baubles to go. If you want to, you can use foam squares for these to make them pop out that little bit more. but because of the width of the card already, when it's got the pop out inside, I'm just going to glue them. Cut my gold bits from a mirror card to give it a little bit of extra shine. And then it doesn't really matter where you put the baubles. I'm sort of looking at my computer screen trying to get them in the same place. But there's no right or wrong way to place them. And that's my card front done. Don't worry that you can see through it at the moment. This will be going on top of the main white card when we've made that. I've got a little bit of glue there. I'm just going to try and scrape that off. So yeah, that's looking lovely. Now we can move on to making the pop out. Here are all the pieces of the pop out card, and you should end up with 2 pieces that have a star on the top. One of them is a solid star and the other one's got a slit down the middle. You've got 2 pieces with tabs on the bottom, 2 small trees that have slits in the bottom, 2 big trees that have the slits in the top, and then 2 big trees that have the slits in the bottom. And you'll also have these little pieces of stars. There are 2 full stars and then 4 half stars. We'll start by sticking the stars onto the green pieces of card that have the stars on them. The solid ones, as you'll probably guess, go on the ones with the solid star here, one on the front and one on the back. When you're doing the ones that are the half star, make sure you don't glue over the gap in the middle, otherwise it's not going to go together. So you want to position it up and leave that gap in the middle. See, it still opens up there. And make sure you do the same on the other side too. There's that side, then turn them upside down and do the matching stars on the other side. Just double checking that still opens up as 2 separate bits, which it does. Alright, I'm going to give my glue a moment to dry on those because that's the bits I want to put together first. Now my glue's dried, I can take the star bit with the gap in the middle and then slit it over the middle hole in the bottom of the one with the solid star. Those 2 slits will go over each other. You might need to wiggle it about a little to get it in place. And then it will push right up so it ends up flush with itself on the bottom and it should stand up freely. Take your time to make sure your stars line up in the middle, so that will help with all the other pieces. Next, take the 2 largest tree pieces that have got the slits in the bottom. These are going to go either side of the stars into the slits at the top. Now the card actually does join on the bottom of the points of the star to that slit. You might just want to rip it open. It does go together with it not open, but I find it a little bit easier if you just kind of break it apart. And then this is going to go down the middle hole on these new trees, and it will go down the next hole next to the stars on the ones we've already done. Oh, I've just put that in the wrong one. Again, you might need to wiggle it around to get the slits to go perfectly where we want them to. There's one of those in there. Then the other one, that matching shape, goes on the other side. And now we've ended up with this. Next, take the 2 smaller trees that have got the slits in the bottom, and this is going to go in the remaining slits on those same sides. So it goes down the middle of the new trees and then into those last slits all the way down to the bottom, and the same for the other side. Now you've ended up with this kind of shape. And don't worry if some of your tree bits are all sort of going into each other at the moment. It will all end up looking nice and even once we add the ones the other side. Next, select the largest trees that have got the slits in the top. These are going to go up into the matching slits on here. And the biggest trees go closest to the middle. And now it's a little bit tricky because we've got lots of bits to go over. Once you get it started, the rest of it's not so bad. Alright, so I'm going to keep wiggling this in off camera because I take ages on this. I'm not very good at it, but they will all slide in eventually. I've now got those two bits in my tree and it's closing in and opening out nicely. We've got two bits left, which are the ones with the tabs. To check which way round to put them in, position your tree so that it sits inside of the blue bit of your card, and you want to make sure that when you press it in together, it's closing when it's sat in the middle like this. If I had it the wrong way round and had it round that way instead, when I push those sides, it doesn't collapse in on itself. And that means if I was to stick it in that way, my card won't open and close. So it needs to be more of this sort of, X shape in front of me. And then you can look at where the tabs are going to go on these pieces. So the holes are here and here in the trees at the bottom. And this one is going to need to go in this hole. So I want to put it round like that with the tab on this side. Then the other one will be the other way around with the tab at the top because my hole is there. So that one's going to sit in those remaining holes on that side and be that way round. So I'll get those slotted in now and then we'll put the pop out into the card. My little tree is now all finished and the tabs line up nicely with the holes. And when it's closed, it all pushes in. So I know I've got that all round the right way. So next, let's get the tabs inside here. We need to fold this in half first along that score line. And then you can go down it with a brayer tool or something similar to help get that fold really crisp. And then you'll need some sticky tape to stick the tabs in. Before I do that, however, I'm going to create the message panel. I think that would be easier to add next. This consists of 3 pieces of cardstock, which look like this. Start with the big rectangle and then we'll glue the kind of border shape on top of that. Line that up along the edge. And that will contain the message panel, which is this piece. Place that in so that the larger tabs go at the bottom, but don't glue it yet. Don't glue this bit, otherwise it's not going to pull out. So what it will do is it will pull and then jam on those 2 little bits of card, so it's not going to come out all the way and get lost. And then it will be glued to the back of here, so it will tuck in nicely along that semicircle cut out. Add some glue along the top of the border piece, only that piece though, don't put any glue in the middle. And then line it up with the bottom and the side of the blue and stick down. Don't push down too hard, otherwise your glue might smush out and get stuck on the message panel, which we don't want because then it won't move. But that will then pull out and go back in really nicely. Get your star and then on one of the tabs, the one on the left, I'm going to pull it through the hole. Once again, just make double sure you've got it the right way around, that it will press in when your card's closed. So that will stick through there. Pull it tight all the way and close up your card and fold the tab, and I put it in kind of an upwards right diagonal and then use tape to get that stuck down. Open it up and then you've got the other tab on the other side. Poke that through the hole, pull it all the way through. And then this one goes in a bottom left direction. I can add the tape over there to hold it in place. And now, ta-da! Lovely Christmas tree inside the pop-out card, which opens and closes beautifully. Next, take your white piece of card and fold it the same direction along all 3 of the score lines. The reason for having 3 score lines on this card instead of 1 is so that when the card is shut, those 3 score lines form almost a little tent on the side, which means you end up with this space in the middle. That's going to hold all those pop-out pieces inside the card nice and flat. Here's what it looks like from the side. You see it's kind of given a little flat edge along there, which is how that little gap is being formed. I'll open this out and then close up the card and add glue to all over one of the sides. Make sure you don't put any glue over any of those snowflake cutouts. Open out the card, and then this is going to glue to the inside so that the middle score line on this card matches up with the middle score line on the one there. And then stick it down so that you've got an even amount of white showing along all of the sides. There's that one. Then close it up and add the glue to the other side. And then open this one out and stick it down so that again you've got an even border of the white showing. Now you might find that the middle part of the card right up against your score line doesn't quite stick to the inside. That's okay, that's because of how we've got that tent effect in there. You can see it better from that side, there's a little gap. That's absolutely fine. And now it's getting nice and sturdy. Pop-out tree and hidden message panel. Here it is. One thing left to do, which is to add our card front onto the front. Now you'll find when you do this that it's going to overlap a little bit on one side. Again, that's because we did the 3 folds on the white card. So rather than add the glue to the back of the card front, I'm going to put it on here and just go up to that score line. This isn't a very good cardigan for gluing projects because it's very baggy in the sleeve department. I'm adding quite a bit of glue on there because this is fairly heavy with all the pieces. I've just realised that was a really bad idea because now you're going to see the glue through the snowflakes. I should have put the glue on the back of here instead. Yeah, you know what? I messed that up. On camera too. Oh well. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want to see the glue line through my snowflakes. Oh dear, silly move, Sarah. I'm going to go and cut myself a 5x7 bit of white card to go on the front where I've put all that glue, and then I'll stick that on front. So bear with me whilst I just go and fix my little mistake. Okay, crisis averted. I've stuck a piece of white on the top of there, and now I've added the glue to the back of this instead. I'll line that up against the right hand side and the top and the bottom, because the left probably won't quite stick from where we've got that tent fold effect. And now there's no horrible ugly glue marks inside my snowflakes. I love it when a mistake is easy to fix. And also when I make the mistake, so you don't have to. Alright, so there's the front of my card. And then it opens up into that wonderful pop-out Christmas tree. It's really, really pretty. And the hidden message panel is down here. I hope that you've enjoyed this video on how to make a pop-out Christmas tree card. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut card making videos where I don't usually make mistakes like I did in this one. I hope to see you tomorrow for day 9 of the Christmas Craft Countdown. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Bye!